welcome back to the Race Spec F1 Esports European Series Tier 1 League. We are here in France for today. There's my voice, and I think we're working. So, you join us in the last couple of minutes of this qualifying session. You can see TNR, Torpedo and the Mercedes, and I believe that's Rising Albon just leaving the pits. Welcome everyone on the stream. I've actually got it working this time. So currently it's LR Calzio, or Calzo 210 on pole position, currently on our 1:29.995, a great lap, and good enough to seem about 6/10 clear of the next car. You can see the tyres where the drivers set their best laps on. So now have the gap to the leader. Big gap at the front. Toro Rosso looking relatively comfortable. Here's Bale on a lap in the Haas as he comes down turn, goes down the Mistral straight into the chicane, getting it stopped quite nicely, back on the power. Onto the next part of the Mistral straight, through Scenes corner, flat out in these cars, as he's now powering at 200 miles an hour into the double right-hander. Very easy to mess up this one. So he's back on the power. SHR Ninja goes P6 on the medium tyre. Slightly wide there for Bale. Not getting a track extension warning at the moment. Keep it relatively clean. Chain game in the other Haas goes P2, 7 thousandths off the lead, so very tight at the top here. What can Bale do in the other Haas? His P3 is an improvement. He's about half his gap to the cars ahead. So looking a little bit further down, there's a Renault off, you can see there at the bottom of the picture. I believe Brayley is the only car left on a lap, other than we have an Alfa Romeo here on fresh mediums, as he comes through the final corner, currently P12. Starting outside the top 10, he will get a free choice of tyres if he is to stay in this position. Getting it stopped for the final corner, turned in, and powers across the line. He improves to P6, a great lap there from the Alfa Romeo. Looking a bit further down now, Brayley in the Red Bull, the last driver to complete a lap. Through the final corner, very wide there. That's not going to help his lap time at all. P10's the worst he's going to do today. He's going to cross the line. Stays P10. So is the rundown, if you will. Alo Calzo by 8 thousandths of a second on pole, ahead of the two Haas's chain game, getting the best of his teammate Bale in a tight fought battle on the front row. Now it's quite a gap back to the Mercedes of Torpedo and Rusland in the Renault in P5. Then we got the first of the medium tyre runners, the Alfa Romeo, Rising Albon and Ninja. And then the Mercedes of Cruel and the Red Bull of Brayley round out the top 10. So, Le France, it's race time. 50% race. It's looking quite overcast at the Circuit of Pulhuicade. As now we wait for all the drivers to load into the session. People on the stream, hope you're having a good night. How are we doing? And let us know your race predictions. So, due to the overcast conditions, there's a high likelihood of rain. Welcome everyone to the stream. So here we go, drivers loaded in. They're off on their formation lap. "16 drivers here today, which is almost doubled from last week, so great job from the league. Getting a lot of drivers in. It's going to be all about if these drivers can keep it, who's going to score the big points, who's going to take the win. Little information on tyres. Got 2 drivers opting for the hard tyre, sorry. You can see TNR Chonis in the Alfa Romeo on the hard tyres, and just ahead of him Craig also on the hard tyres. The rest of the drivers also, well, they had the choice, so V Todd, George, Deadly Flu all opting for the medium tyres. Brayley and Krul forced to start on the soft tyres due to them qualifying in the top 10. There's a bit of contact there between Ninja and Torpedo. Rising Albon, Ninja and Onole both on the medium tyre, and the top 5 all on the top, the top 5, Rusland, Torpedo, Bale, Chain Game and Calzio all on the soft tyre. Now we just wait for the drivers to form up to the grid, then it will be race time. So we've got a bit of a ghost situation going on here as the drivers now exit the final corner. Tyres in as best condition as possible. Let's now watch G. Kurabold in the Ferrari, the last driver to line up on the grid. And then we'll be just about ready to start off this race. Drivers now, all eyes on the lights. We go to 5 red lights for the start of round 8 of the Tier 1 European Series, and it's lights out and away we go. Looks like the Toro Rosso of Calcio's got away well. There's contact in the background, there's a Renault going off, colliding with the McLaren of George, I believe. There's a big contact there. Many cars off. Ruslan has spun around. Chain Game has kept P2. Meanwhile, the Alfa Romeo up into P3. Krul also up into P4. Good starts there. Bale down into P5 as they go through the 3rd corner. A quick look on the position change. We're 3 wide temporarily into turn number 4. We got a couple of cars off the track as Brayley is now making his way up into P4 as they enter the Mistral straight now. You can see drivers all over the place. Here's Bale, who's dropped 4 positions from the start, as has TNR Torpedo. So it's absolutely all over the shop here. Further forward, here's Krul going for a move on Brayley into the chicane. The Mercedes just puts his nose ahead, gets that position. And further back, we've got more battling. There's 4 cars battling for P6 here. It's all over the shop. There's contact there, and Torpedo is off. Contact with Rising Albon. I believe his car is undamaged and he's okay to continue. Here's Tino Chonis, who made up 5 positions as he's side by side with Kurabold, who's up into 9th from the back of the grid. So a great start from himself as his drivers all over the shop. As Deadly Flu going slightly wide, outbraking himself ever so slightly there. That's going to give Rising Albon a possible chance. I believe there's front wing damage on that racing point. There is, and I think, he is going to be pitting for a new front wing. As Calzo starts his 2nd lap of the Grand Prix. He's the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. He kept the lead at the start and made a good job of it indeed. Apologies for the minor glitch with the timing system. We'll hopefully sort that out. Well, that'll sort itself out pretty soon. Whole gaggle of cars now coming through the middle sector. Will Currabald be able to make a move? You can always see already see a bit of understeer on the cars, and overheating of the front tyres is quite a common thing here at France. So, you know, we might start to see that, and it might start to play a factor as the stints go on. Meanwhile, a little bit further back, here is V Todd battling with the Alfa Romeo. The Alfa Romeo is into the brake zone first. Looks like Todd actually outbroke the Alfa Romeo, but couldn't do anything with it. Todd with front wing damage to that front wing, of course. However, here's the driver at the front, Calzo, pulling away, doing a good job. He's got a good few seconds on the car behind. As chain game being now pulled in by Owen Ollie. As there's a yellow flag, there's been contact further back. There's a massive pile-up of cars. I believe that's a Mercedes made contact with Brayley. There might have been someone else off. Yeah, the Ferrari has damage to that front wing. Apologies for missing that. It's all over the shop. I believe the Alfa Romeo has damage. And here is Cruel being followed by V Todd. And yeah, you'll see a lot of cars into the pits now with damage, as I believe the timing issue has resolved itself. There's contact there, wheel to wheel, into turn number 1 between the Williams and the Mercedes. The Mercedes swoops around the outside, but there's contact there. He's going to be forced to go off the track. He'll have to give that position back, and in doing so, there's even more contact. More elbows being thrown out from the drivers. He's forcing V Todd off the track as Cruel keeps the position, clearly not wanting to be overtaken. Now there's contact with the Alfa Romeo, and Todd sent off the track now. It's all happening here in the Race Spec Tier 1 Euro Esports League. And I need to lie down. Anyway. So, Cruel just not... he really doesn't want to be overtaken today. And, yeah, it's showing. Definitely is showing. Got a bit of a close battle further back here. Got the cars sort of continuing up. DRS now enabled for drivers on the third lap, so that's everyone. Yes, here comes Rusland on some fresh, hard tyres. They're all closing up to George, as is Brayley just ahead. He'll have DRS on George. Rusland will have DRS on the two of them. Or will he be able to do DRS activated in that Red Bull? He's closing. Is he close enough for a move down the inside of the chicane? No, he's not. He's going to have to wait and live to fight another day. He sort of got backed up there behind the McLaren. I was going to say the Renault might be able to have a go at him, but Rustling getting all over the place, all over the shop on the power, and order will stay as it is for the time being. But here's the Alfa Romeo Onole on the back, as there's a move there. It is Chonis. That's a very aggressive dive bomb from Cruel, and I think he brought that upon himself there. There wasn't a gap. Shouldn't go for it, and that's basically his race over. He's still on the points, so maybe some possibilities. But here comes Onole. He's been closing in on the Haas for many laps now. He's got DRS open. He's going to go to the inside though, wheel to wheel, under braking. Onole moves ahead in the Alfa Romeo, and now he's free to chase after LR Calzo, who's held the lead since the start after getting pole, and maybe he'll be able to have a go. Talking about people being able to have a go, here comes Deadly Flu in the Williams. It looks like the median tyre runner is coming alive now, which would suggest some tyre issues starting to come into play. Deadly Flu not able to have a go yet though. Here's Chain Game, keeping Onole, keeping him honest. Come on TNR guys, a lot of love for TNR. Talking about TNR, I think there might be some more contact. We got Brayley. Now there's just a big battle here. George under pressure. He's been overtaken by Brayley. Here comes Rusland. Will he be able to make a move down this second part of the Mistral Straight? Looks like Brayley, or more specifically George, struggling on pace. Is Rusland going to try around the outside? That'll be a very impressive move if he can keep it around the outside. He can't. He's understeered off the track. That's basically taken him out of it. And Cruel has now retired from the session. Not sure if there was contact there, he's just gone off himself, but the end of a miserable day for himself. And I'm sure he'll be in... We won't want to be remembering this race for long. Anyway, here's Deadly Flu. This battle still going on. As I mentioned before, the medium tyres on the Williams. Down the inside goes the Williams. The Haas leaves in the room, and Deadly Flu moves past Bale up into P4. A good move from himself. Welcome everyone on the chat. Hope you're having a good time. Bale not able to come back at Deadly Flu. Looking like the soft tyres are actually starting to wear a bit at this point. Could cause some interesting scenarios. As I believe this is the closest battle on the track. The fastest driver on the track there is, I believe, is TNR Owenole. As he's closing up to the race leader, closed about 0.4 of a second that lap. And he could be about to take the lead. Bear in mind, I'd imagine that the Alfa Romeo will be on a 1-stop, whereas it is likely that El Calzo is on a 2-stop. So all to play for at the top. However, saying that, it is more than possible that if you start on the soft tyres, you can still do a 1-stop. It's quite marginal with the tyres, but it's more than possible. So a lot of dynamics so far in this French Grand Prix. Not too many on-track battles. Here's Ruslan though. Pretty close to Braley's. Braley goes quite wide out the final corner. That's going to give Ruslan a very good run if he gets on the power. Seems all good to me. He's got DRS activated. He's tucked into the slipstream of the Red Bull. Is he going to go inside or outside? Neither really, as he doesn't commit to a move. Going through turn 1 and 2, he's going to have to stick behind for the time being. But Braley with a bit of a slide on the exit there, which are going to drop him back. Ruslan not able to make a move on the Red Bull yet. As you can see, the Red Bull going off the track there, so Braley clearly struggling on the tyres. Considering they're 3-lap-old hard, so fresher tyres actually. So just really struggling in general is that Red Bull. Here comes the Renault of Rusland with DRS. Inside or outside, he faked to the inside, then went to the outside. Didn't really work because he was left with nowhere to go due to the positioning of Braley's car. And Rusland again getting all over the shop on the power. Rusland into the slipstream now. Really be able to make a move through scenes. Have to stick behind for the time being. But Chain Game has now come into the pits on medium tyres, so a committed 2-stop for the driver who was in P3, and he's going to have to push on. There's a battle going on between VTOD and Rising Albon. I believe Albon may have just overtaken VTOD. And here we go again. Drivers all very close. Looks like a few drivers struggling off the exit of the final corner, which is sort of like ruining the racing down towards turn 1. Here's the Alfa Romeo continuing to close in on the Toro Rosso. We'll keep our eyes peeled for that battle. However, Ruslan closing in on Braley for P12. Braley just looks as if he's struggling through this first sector, which is putting Ruslan off the track again. And yeah, he's really going to struggle to keep the position. He needs a miracle and a half, because Rusland now has DRS. He's going to go to the outside. El Calzo though at the same time pits, and that's Rusland up into P12. Good move from himself. Braley's not going to have a look under braking, as he? No, he is not. And that is continued. So got a couple of drivers in the pits. Bale, Calzo, they both pit. The race leader pits onto hard tyres, so a 1-stop for the race leader, slightly early than what I would have expected. But it'd be interesting to see if he can stretch that. Here's Craig. He's going to come out ahead. Well, it's going to be close between the two of them. Yeah, Calzo holds the lead as Albon sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. as normal order is resumed, dare I say. It's all very tight battles here in round 8 of the Tier 1 European Series of the Race Spec F1 Esports League. Strategy will start to unfold. Will it rain? That's the question that's been on everyone's mind. We're still waiting on that one. No rain as of yet, I don't imagine. It's highly possible it comes at the end of the race. We'll have to wait and see about that one. But here's Chain Game, who's just come out the pits. He's come up behind Craig. He's going to have to push on, and if he wants any chance of getting a really good finish in this race, he's got to get past the McLaren as soon as he possibly can. He can't really afford to be held up for too long because the effective race leader is just past Craig. And looking on board with Chain Game, he's doing a good job. The car looked pretty stable through the final sector, or with what it is so far. And he's looking in good position. Fresher tyres and the better exit. There. Will Craig be able to keep the position? He does for now. Chain Game slightly deep on the brakes there. Mounting the curb on the inside a lot. You can see the extra confidence that Chain Game has in his medium tyres, and you'd imagine he'd set up a move onto this back straight. He's very close to the McLaren already. He's got to be careful he doesn't run into him and get some front wing damage. That nearly happened, but there goes Chain Game on the inside, wheel to wheel, but with the DRS he's going to fly for it up into P5. I can't imagine Craig would have ever made that too difficult for him. Up into P5 and on softer tyres. Be interesting to see if Craig can chase after the Toro Rosso on the harder tyres ahead. Looks like we've still got the scrap for the wooden spoon of 14th place, if you will, going on. George now with the DRS on Brayley. Not tucking into the slipstream, weirdly. Back on the power now. We continue, all drivers seemingly struggling with their ERS levels. ERS, a newer addition to the game, is a lot easier to deplete now in this year's game, which has caused all league racers to adjust their driving style to it. Some have adjusted better than others, and France is really one of those circuits which really tests the driver's ERS and fuel management. High power circuit is France. There's a lot of high speed corners, and yeah, it really shows. Can George now make a move on the Red Bull? He's close. Doesn't look like he's close enough there as he enters turn number 1. It's like Brayley struggling through the second part of the corner there. Here's Calza in the Toro Rosso, closing up to TNR Jonas, or Gionis if you will. Not able to make a move yet though. Here comes George with the DRS, he will have. Brayley made a mistake there, went very wide, that's not going to help his exit. Here he goes, now Onole has come into the pits. Whilst we watch this move, round the outside goes George up into P13. Good move from himself. He can now try and fight after Rusland. Welcome back to the top. Ole comes out the pits on a set of medium tyres, a new set of medium tyres, so a 2-stopper for Ole. Calcia re-inherits P3, and as he is the effective race leader, 3-second time penalty for himself there. So he now enters through turn 4, 5 and 6. He will have DRS on the Alfa Romeo, 7-lap fresher tyres on the Toro Rosso car of Calza, and you'd imagine it won't be hard at all for Doros to breeze past. And yeah, good move. Well calculated, didn't take any unnecessary risks there. And yeah, Calzo in the effective lead of the race. Meanwhile, further back, he's battling between Ole and Chain Games. These two on a similar strategy. However, Ole just come out of the pits though on 4-lap fresher tyres, both on the medium compound of tyres. Down the Mistral straight now, you can see the Alfa Romeo almost out of ERS. So he's going to struggle to actually make a move. He's close though. He has a little look into turn 12. We can't make anything of it. Good exit though. He's going to send one down the inside. It'd be a very good move if he can make it work. Chain Game gives him the space, gets the traction around the outside. A great defensive move there from the Haas driver, as he's somehow keeping Ole behind him. But for how long? Through the final corner now. Ole will have DRS. He's very close now, so you'd imagine that it's an overtake in the books for Ole. He's looked strong. And both these drivers have to push on, so they can't really afford to hold each other up too much. So it'll be interesting to see how that one plays out. There's a battle here between Craig and Albon. Albon getting through that one quite easily. Back to this battle now though. And whilst these two are battling, they're both closing up to Ole's teammate in the other Alfa Romeo. Chain Game does not have DRS at the moment, but next lap I imagine he will have. So it'd be great if Ole could make that move now. Chain goes to the inside, breaking the slipstream. What will Ole be able to do? There's a double move there from Chain Game under braking. That could come into question with the stewards moving under braking. And yeah, I'm not quite sure from that one. I'll have to see it again. Be interested to see what the stewards decide on that one. Meanwhile, Todd battling with the Torpedo. Torpedo moving through up into P9 as he continues to try and chase after Bale. But this battle's still going on, and it's very soon to become a 3-horse battle as they're all closing up on Chonis. Come on, Flo and Rising Albon. Rising Albon currently P6. Here we go. As Deadly Flo is into the pits. Probably for a set of hard tyres, I would imagine. His Chain Game. Oh, it's a late move into turn 1. That was very aggressive, and that caught even me off guard. And Jonas has dropped from P2 to P4, and now Ole is on the back. That was almost a necessity for Chain Game to make that move, because if not, he would have been held up all through the first sector, and Ole would have been on the back of him. But he's on the back of him anyway, and on 4-lap fresher tyres. It does look as if Chain Game's going to struggle to keep the position. However, Ole making a minor mistake into turn number 7, which made him struggle on the exit. He's not close enough to make a move into the chicane, but if he gets a good run out, you'd imagine that he's able to take that position. His Deadly Flow coming out of the pits and moving past Craig Tommy. Back to this battle though, however. Nothing coming of it so far. The drivers continue. However, you would imagine it's just a matter of time until Ole fights his way past Chain Game. He's close to the Alfa Romeo. He's close. He's not close enough to send one down the inside. Many overtaking points. 3-second time penalty for a couple of drivers. You can see, quite an easy track to get penalties at. But here comes Ole in the DRS. He's going to be moved to the inside, switching to the outside. He's going to be forced to the outside under braking. Have to make it, hang it around the outside. That's a very good move from the Alfa Romeo as he moves up into P2. Good move from himself there. Now it's Chain Game's job to try and come back. He will have the DRS. Well, you'd expect him to have the DRS as long as he doesn't make a mistake down the first part of the Mistral straight. So if he can get a good exit, he might be able to get his man back. We'll have to see. Coming through turn 7 now, DRS will be activated. He's got a very good exit, and he should be able to reclaim this position. Ole moves to the inside, round the outside goes Chain Game. They're going to be wheel to wheel, under braking. Ole switches to the outside, can't make it work there, but he's going to open up the next part of the corner better, and back on the power. Might he be able to switch his positions yet again? Down the second part of the Mistral straight, through Scene's corner. It looks like he's close. He's going to go down the inside. Is Ole. Down the inside goes the Alfa Romeo. They're side by side into turn number 12. Who's going to give? Chain manages to hold it around the outside. A great battle these two drivers are putting on for us for second place today. And all the time they're doing this, Calzo ahead on the hard tyres is able to extend his lead. Here comes Ole around the outside. Can't make that work. Chain covering off the inside. However, now Ole will have a more opened up line through the final corner. He'll also have DRS. So yet again, where they started battling a lap ago, we do a full circle and we're back to square one where we were before. Ole again going to try hold it around the outside. This time Chain late enough on the brakes, forcing the Alfa Romeo out wide, keeping P2 for the time being. What can Ole do now? He's right up the gearbox of the Haas. He's not going to be able to make a move yet. He's going to take the DRS as Chain does defend the inside. Get very close to the rear wing of that Haas. As it looks like Chain's got a decent exit, built up a bit of a gap, about half a second. He immediately goes to the left to break the slipstream. I don't think Ole is going to be quick enough, or close enough, to make a move. Very good defensive driving going on at the moment from Chain Game. However, how long we'll be able to keep it up for, we'll have to see. You can see Chain with a bit more ERS to play with than Ole behind. However, round the outside as Chain defends the inside, this will be an aggressive move. Round the outside goes the Alfa Romeo. He's going to get shoved off the track. All is fair in love and war. Until then, there's contact between the two drivers, and the Alfa Romeo sent spinning Ole down into P4, P3. Not sure if he lost the position to his teammate. He didn't. But that was an interesting accident. It will definitely be looked at after the race, and it looks like Chain is slowing up to allow the driver through. And very sportsmanlike behaviour there from Chain Game. From Chain Game. However, it's ruined both of their chances at the race win. As sportsmanlike behaviour indeed from Chain Game. A good gesture from himself. Whilst all that was going on, TNRT Jonas pits, and he's come out in P9 on fresh medium tyres going to the end. 11 laps remaining in this race. Onto the back straight, the Mistral straight now. The Haas with DRS. Will Chain Game be able to make a move? He's got the DRS, he's going to go to the inside. Under braking, he can make the move. A good move from himself. However, do you have a bit of deja vu? Will Ole be able to come back again? Down the second part of the Mistral straight into Scene's corner. Chain Game covers the inside. Ole takes the outside, he gets a wash of understeer there though. That sort of ruined his chances at that place before going wide yet again. Here's VTOD being overtaken by Chonis on 15 lap fresh and medium tyres, so can't imagine that would have been too much of a battle for himself. As Chonis just exiting the pits, everyone ahead of him on much older tyres, so he should be the fastest car on track. He waited quite a while to do that pit stop. Bear in mind, he did start on the hard tyres, I believe. So he's had a very good race so far, has Chonis, and he should be able to make it up into some good point scoring positions. He now closes up to Kuribold, who's on harder 13 lap older tyres than himself. You can see the Ferrari struggling. He's going to go down the inside. Is the Alfa Romeo? There's contact there. He'll be lucky if there isn't damage to that car. Will I see from the off-board shot? I think he's just about escaped with it. But you have to be a lot more careful than that in the future. Anyway, here's Ole going very much so off the track. Continuing now onto the Mistral straight. DRS is activated. And I don't think he's quite close enough to make a move yet. through the chicane. Back to this battle though, the other Alfa Romeo hounding a Ferrari. Here we go, down the inside, goes the Alfa Romeo up into P9, good move from himself, no questions asked. Much cleaner than the first attempt. Now he's got about 7 seconds up the road to the next car. Whether he can close that, we'll have to see. Here's Ole close again, 4 lap fresher tyres. The same compounder tyres, they're not able to make it work at the moment though. Through the final corner, back on the power. It was a good exit there from the Alfa Romeo. He's not quite close enough to make a move. As I've mentioned previously, all the time that these two are battling, it's just giving Calzo in the Toro Rosso so much so much breathing room to extend the gap and just keep going. And you'd say, I don't want to put the commentator's curse on him, you'd say he's got the race win in the bag tonight. It's been a good drive from himself all day, claiming pole position. However, here comes Ole. He's going to try yet again. He's not close enough to make a move yet though. It'll be a very ambitious dive bomb there. Now continue back to the battle of the TNRs. TNR Torpedo and TNR Tangionis. 8th and 9th respectively. 5.5 second gap. Jonis just took about 2 seconds out of his TNR teammate, if you will, on the last 2 laps. He's doing a good job, so he's pushing on. I can imagine with 14 lap fresher tyres he'll be with him in no time. As whilst these two have been battling, Rising Albon has been closing up. Rising Albon pitted really early. Is up to P4, and I don't know if he's going to try stretch those tyres to the end. If he does, be a very, very interesting strategy if he can keep it on the black stuff. 3-second time penalty again for Rising Albon, who was disqualified last week after having what looked like the victory in the bag. Got disqualified for corner cutting. Doesn't want to be doing that one again. Looks like he's got a fair few amounts of corner cutting penalties so far. Apologies for the cough. We've got a couple of close battles going on here. Firstly, Ole, is he close enough? It's going to be quite tight. Just to answer your question, Dieseldan, I watched the last live race, but why are these not the same races? There's a lot of... Oh, I've just missed a move there. There's Bale going past Deadly Flu. To answer your question, Dieseldan, there's lots of different tiers in this league. We have the European, we have a Pacific tier, which was the last one that was probably put on. So yeah, there's lots of different tiers. There's a global tier as well. There's an elite tier. There's everything in this league, and there's different drivers in each of them. So I hope that answers your question. Anyway, here comes Ole. Another 3-second time penalty for chain game. Okay, I got you just like AO. Awesome, thank you very much, mate. Hope you're enjoying the stream. Here comes TNR Ole. DRS, is he close enough to make a move? Not quite. Into turn 1, he's going to have to stick behind. Position stay as they are for now. Ole's been... If you're just joining us, Ole's been hounding the Haas of chain game for a long time now. The best part of 15 laps, I'd imagine. Maybe slightly less. Maybe that was a bit of an exaggeration on my part. But it's been a close fought battle between these two. Here comes Ole. Much fresher tyres now. To the inside, they're going to be wheel to wheel into turn number 8. Chain game keeps the position as it's starting to rain on the track. So just to add a little bit more spice to the mixture, Can Ole make a move now? He's right tucked up behind the Haas. There's almost a tiny bit of contact into Scene's corner. And yeah, you can see the rain very clearly. Not so much on the off-board shot, but on the on-board shot you can see it coming down with 7 laps to go in this race. Is it enough to cause intermediate tyres? We got Deadly Flu and Bale side by side. Or we did have. Looks like Flu somewhat backed out of the move. However, he does have fresher tyres, albeit a harder compound. I'd imagine that he'd be able to make the move. These two have been battling for a couple of laps now. Just an eye on the weather. The drivers know much more than I do, as they've got Jeff in their ear. Here's Ole yet again. How many times have we done this? Just looks like Ole struggles to get a good exit out of turn number 5, which then sort of gives them a bit of a deposit to the Haas ahead of what he should have. Late on the brakes, but it's not enough to scare the Haas offline. Here's Deadly Flu coming back at the Haas. These two are going to be wheel to wheel into turn number 8. Looks like the Williams has that position for now. He does, and he moves up into P5. Meanwhile, up in front, I haven't spoken about this guy for a while, but LR Calza currently doing a great job on his 13-lap-old hard tyres. He's led every lap of the race so far, bar the 2, I believe, when he pitted, maybe. But, you know, he's been dominant. He got pole position, and there's just 5 laps in between himself and the win here. However, easier said than done. We've got a bit of rain to throw in as Rising Albon pits. There's a bit of rain to throw into the occasion, so yeah, everything spicing up. As you can see, Ole so close to the rear wing, as there's intermediates on Rising Albon's car. Call me a madman, but I think that is a bit early. Intermediates 2 for Bale. Okay, I may be mistaken. We'll be watching the outlap times of you can see into turn 1 struggling. Doesn't look like they've got loads and loads of grip on those intermediates. Is that too early? Is it fastest lap from Kurabold? Is that too early of a call? The track does not look damp enough at all for intermediate tyres. And if you're someone like Bale pitting from, I think it was P4 position, you see Braylon out onto the intermediates. Is George going to be George onto the intermediates too? So maybe it's going to come good. We might see DRS disabled in a bit of time. There's Bale going off the track and into the wall. So that's his points chance pretty much over. So now Rising Albon is our reference. He's just gone off track. So drivers on the intermediate tyres struggling and are actually slower than those on the dry tyres. As here comes Jonas on the fresher tyres. He's going to be so much quicker than everyone else. If you're on worn tyres, that's not the position you want to be in at this point in time. But it's too early, it's way too early for the intermediate tyres, and I don't think we'll get them before the end of the race. Even if it does become faster to use the intermediates, I can't imagine the top guys would pit, because you know there's just no point in doing it, because you won't gain as much in, say, 4 laps, or you won't gain the time back. But it's all going off in the final couple of laps. Is the rain enough to really spice things up, or is it just a bit of a hoax? Ole yet again, not quite close enough. You have to live to fight another day. With that one, Tino Chonis and the other Alfa Romeo closing up to the Mercedes of TNR Torpedoes, a yellow flag. Sector 3, that's another intermediate tyre runner going round. So I think that speaks for itself, really. Yeah, looks like Chain struggling off the exit of turn number 12 there. You'd imagine Chain would start to hit troubles with his tyres. 16 lap old tyres now, they're probably out of their comfort zone. Be interesting to see. Meanwhile, here's Chonis, who's close right up to TNR Torpedo. TNR friends here. Enemies on the racetrack there. Braley retires from the session into the pits, goes Torpedo. Not sure what tyres this will be for. There's a lengthy gap behind Craig, who's also in the pits. So intermediate tyres on the Mercedes of Torpedo. Wait to see what tyres the McLaren team put on. Intermediate tyres also for Craig. So are the intermediates now the way to go? Could it be a late switchover? Does someone want to take a risk if you're, I don't know, if you're Deadly Flu? Do you take a risk if you're TNR Chonis? Do you take a risk? There's many variables. Anyway, here's Curabold moving past Russland. Pretty easy move for himself on fresh soft tyres. He's going to be fast as well in these conditions. 4 lap old soft tyres, very fresh. We're still watching this battle. Is Rising Albon there, dropping back from Vitod, who's on soft tyres, fresh soft tyres. So yeah, I actually can't see the intermediates being quicker at this point in time. There's no reason to it. Hasn't been raining for long enough. It's not heavy enough. Maybe give it 10 more laps then it probably would be, but at this time, it's a big no-no. Yellow flag. Craig is out the session. Not sure where he's gone off on the right. Not sure what's happened there, but I'd imagine he's just clipped the curb and spun off. Craig was one of those to pit onto the inters, so another accident for the drivers on the intermediate tyres. So that just reinforces the belief that there will indeed not be any gains, or definitely at the moment, from going on the intermediate tyre. This is one of the only battles on the track at the moment. Been entertaining us nearly all race long. Will Ole manage to snatch the position at the death? Will he win it? Or win P2, I should say, on penalties? He's close. He's going to have a little look around the outside. He's going to give it a red hot shot in the wet conditions. Not quite doable. Chain shuts the door on him. A bit of oversteer there from Chain. That's going to show Ole the outside line. Subsequently, opening up the next part of the track. Will he be able to get a good run? It's a good battle. He's going to send one down the inside. He's going to have to get creative, Ole. He's been stuck behind this car for about 10-15 laps. If he wants to actually make a move, he's going to have to get creative. As Todd now moves up into P8. Past the Torpedo. Ole moving around all over the place down the straights. Not able to make a move. See, Chain's been smart with his ERS. You can see how much more ERS he has. I can imagine he's deploying that down the Mistral straight, which is giving him such an advantage on the car ahead. But you can see 19 lap old tyres now. They must not be in a good way at all. As now you can see Ole's really close and exiting turn 6 through turn 7 now. He's so close, and maybe, just maybe on the penultimate lap, will he be able to deliver the knockout punch for P2. He's tried it nearly 1,000,001 times, but here we go, round the outside, the drives a wheel to wheel into turn 8. He still can't make it work though. Chain goes slightly off the track to keep that position. That might be called into question after the race. But here we go. Ole with a better exit. He's going to have to be forced around the outside though. This is where the ERS management of Chain Game might come into play. Can't make that work though. It's all over the place for Chain. He's off the track and he's going to be in the wall. Massive damage there. Half his front wing's been lopped off. And that's the podium dream gone for Chain Game after driving what was such a good race. It's ended in disaster. I don't think it's going to be worth him pitting with just the one lap to go after this one. But he's going to get overtaken by Deadly, who's going to claim a podium here at France. However, Ole does go into the pits. I'm not really sure about this strategy decision. What is I'll be interested to know he's pitted for intermediate tyres this time in the race from P2. He's basically with one lap to go, he's pitted for intermediate. Right, I'm very baffled. I don't understand the strategy. Yeah, there's no way you'll be able to make up that much time on one lap. And he's just handed Chain Game, possibly P2. Will Deadly Flu be able to catch him? He's got big damage. Does Chain Game through the final sectors where he'll make the biggest gains. You can see Chain struggling as he went off the track there. However, looking a little bit further forward, we haven't spoken about this man because he's absolutely dominated from start to finish. He claimed pole in qualifying. He's going to take the win today. Elo Calzo and the Toro Rosso team win the French Grand Prix. A great drive from himself, and he'll be happy to claim the top step of the podium. Looking a little bit further back though, the battle is not over. 1.5 seconds and closing. Will he be able to make a move into the final corner? It'd be very rash. I don't think so. And somehow, from out of absolutely nowhere, following the accident, Chain Game manages to claim a P2, dare I say, out the final corner. Yeah, P2 for Chain Game. What a drive from him to hit that with the damaged front wing. Deadly Flu P3. A good drive from himself. Very good drive actually from the Williams drive. Tina Choni's P4. Good drive from him from far back. Interesting strategy call from Ole. Sent him from P2 down to P5. It's Curbold who actually started at the back of the grid. Gained 10 positions up into P6. Great drive from himself up into P6. Ruslan now. 25 lap old hard tyres. They're sure they wouldn't have been fun. Unknown since lap 2. But P7 and more points for the Renault driver. Moves up to P6 following Curbold's penalties. Here comes Todd through the final corner. The last of the dry tyre runners. And there's Torpedo and Rising Albon, who's already finished. So Torpedo to finish the race as Jaws finishes the race, one lap behind. TNR Torpedo. As the podium, Scotsman on top. We'll look at the race rundown now. It was LR Calzo taking the win. Chain Game with a good drive. Started P2, finished P2. And then Deadly flew from P11 on the grid. Claims the final podium position. Good race there for the Tier 1 of the Race Spec F1 Esports. European League. I hope you have enjoyed. I've enjoyed commentating it, and thank you to all the drivers for putting on a show. Make sure you subscribe to the channel to see many more league races. I'll catch you next time. Goodbye.